Hi, Deepa. Hi, Manisha. Oh, hello, Shalini. Hi, Sanjana. Thank you for joining. Hi, Shika. Hi, Swapna. Hi, Geeta. So it's 5-2. I think, Rashika, we should start and people will be joining.
Okay, so hello everyone. Um, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special session hosted by Aspire for Her, ReFrame, ReBuild, and ReEnter. We're so excited to have you with us this evening, and this session is specially designed for women who are planning to return to work after a break, whether it's been a few months or a few years. If you are feeling unsure, excited, overwhelmed, or just curious, this space is open for you. So, before we dive in, here are a few housekeeping rules we'll be discussing to help us all to make the most of our time together. So, first of all, we'd love to hear from you. So, you are open to express yourself using the chat box and take parts in the polls we'll be hosting. And keep a pen and a paper handy in case you would like to jot down all the notes and reflections. And you can type your questions in the chat during the session. We'll take them up during the Q&A session at the end also. Also, kindly keep yourself on mute to avoid background disturbances. That said, do feel comfortable turning your camera on, and this because this is a very safe and supportive space for everyone. As we are virtually connected, we appreciate your patience in case of any technical glitches. And if you face any issues during the session, just drop a text on the message in the chat, and our team will be there to assist you. So, with that being said, let's get started. Now, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Ananya Upadhyay. Ananya is a passionate and people-centered leader with over 10 years of experience across education, program design, and team leadership. She currently serves as a product head at Avanti Fellows, where she leads the development of career readiness and co-curricular programs for high school students across 15 states in India. Her journey has been rich and diverse, starting as an assistant professor in mechanical engineering before transitioning to development sector through Teach for India, where she taught and led student leadership initiatives. Since then, she worked with organizations like Foster and Forge Foundation, People, and Million Sparks Foundation, building and leading the large-scale education programs, managing partnerships, coaching teams, and designing impactful learning experiences for thousands of students and educators across the country. Beyond her professional expertise, Ananya is also trained coach who's deeply connected and committed to developing people and nurturing potential, especially among women navigating their identity through different stages of life. She is an alumna of Birla Institute of Technology and has participated in the Emerging Women's Leadership Program by ILSS, as well as a leadership development program by the Britspan Group. Today's session is especially close to her heart as she strongly believes in the power of reframing, rebuilding, and re entering, not just into work, but into purpose. So now it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you, Ananya. But before I pass the mic to Ananya, I would like Farisha to launch the poll for everyone who's in the room to identify who we are dealing with today and who you are at your journey.
Thank you so much, Rashika, for such a lengthy introduction. And hi, everyone. Really very excited. And like Rashika just said, that I do love to facilitate spaces for people and for children. And I'm glad, Vibha, thank you for reaching out and letting me be in this space to do this. So, like Rashika said, there will be three questions in the poll, and I request all of you to quickly answer that, and then we'll move forward.
I kindly request everyone to participate in the poll. So you will be seeing the poll before your screen.
Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. So, Ananya, I'd just like to let you know the result. Almost 30% are looking for, ways for confidence to re-enter the workforce. And 22% want tips on resume writing and also strategies to explain the career break. And what is that one fear of getting back to work? So we have 41% saying that not finding a job that matches my interests or flexibility needs. And the next one goes to lacking confidence in interview or presentations.
Great. Thanks, Vibha, and thank you everyone for answering that. With that, let's enter. I just also created a presentation for this space, so just sharing my screen to take you through that. Yeah, just one minute. Please let me know if my screen is changing. So, like a lot of you just answered these questions and said, I'm glad that the presentation aligns with your need, and that is how I was also thinking when I was researching about that. What actually can happen to a woman when they get a career break? And very likely, like all of you said, the data is also somewhere reflect very similar. Like I was going through a report, and it just said that 72% of women do struggle with confidence when it comes to returning to work. And I'm glad that we all are there. Moving forward, what to do when we are struggling with it? So, one of the things that I'll just say that I learned from this data was also that since so many women in this room also, like Vibha said, 22 to 30% women just said, right, that this is something that they are lacking. So the first assurance that I want to give all of you is that you are not alone. A lot of us go through this problem, and we all are struggling towards this. And one of the solutions that I figured out that worked well was how can we flip our mindset? Like, why are we calling it even a career break or a return journey? Can we call it something better? And that brings me to the question that let's relook on our journey. And I have a question for all of you, and you can use your chat box to answer that. I'll give you a couple of minutes for this also. That what is one strength you have developed during this break? Right? Just relook, and just for modeling, I would say that if you have been a homemaker, you must be managing your kids, you must be managing your partner, you must be managing your in-laws, and that I would reframe as that people management skill, right? So using that same example, I request all of you to just relook at your break and think of one strength that you come in with. Amazing commitment. I can see coming that up in the chat box. Continuous learning or always learning. Thank you, Deepa and Utpal. Ability to adapt. Amazing. There is adaptability in this room. Yeah, for sure. So you have built the understanding of going to the root cause of a problem and also how to find a solution. Thank you, Asha, for sharing that. Resource management, lovely. Time management, emotional balance. We have 28 people in this room. I will request at least 10 to 15 answers. Thank you for people who have already got it. Resilience. Yeah, that's a very relatable thing. Continuous learning again. Multitasking, which you're calling managing multiple work at time and commitment. Also, resilience or solving multiple challenges at the time. Great. So I would also request all of you to keep letting this coming, that this is what you are. Uh, and this is what the perspective shift is also that we need as we are coming back to work. Not giving up the attitude or grit. Great. So with that, I'll just take you forward to what is next that we can think of. Uh, and that brings me to the point that did you know that 70% of relaunchers outperform in adaptability and collaboration? And this is also coming from one of the reports that is being published in India in 2021 that talks that a lot of multinationals also believe that returning people uh, tend to perform better than the people who continue in their job force. So this also brings me to a place that how can we remodel the way we think about things? For example, when I was thinking of one of the remodeling for myself, that what could I call a break? I thought maybe we should start calling it relaunching rather than a career break. Uh, and hence, I'll request you to do another small exercise with me. And that is that so far we have been saying that I have a career grace. Now, like you listed down your skills, right? That these are the different skills that you develop. If you have to go back and think of that in your resume, if somebody asks you that what do you bring on table, how do you want to articulate this sentence again? That I am relaunching with, and then you can think of a skill, a goal, a strength of yours, and I would love to see the responses in the chat box. Also, take a minute, pause, and think and connect it with what you did before and now. That will be great. I would love to see the response in the chat box. I would say, like, instead of goal or skill, you can write, for example, like you were writing resilience or adaptability is a skill. I would say I'm relaunching myself with being more resilient. Thank you, Arpita. Lovely. Different vision of developing new products and idea. This look, it sounds very lovely, Arpita. Would you like to, Vibha, can people unmute and share?
It would be better, Ananya, like if we take up that towards the end.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Arpita. I'm waiting for others also to think through this and put their response. Let's take 2 minutes to think on this. Thank you, Dipali, for sharing that. Positive impacts among students. That's lovely. Anupa, I will suggest new career paths. You can make it a little more specific. That what especially it could look like new career paths. Like Manisha wrote a resource management piece. It could become more specific. I am launching with more energy into a more advanced skill set in my profile. Again, Richard, it's a lovely statement, but I would suggest that more advanced skills should be more specific. What could be a specific word to articulate that? And relaunching with deep commitment to learning latest technologies such as AI. Awesome. Or you can also write that what are the technologies that you have learned during this break and maybe be more specific about AI also. Thanks, Utpal. I'm starting a new journey for my career with commitment and I'm open to learning new skills to contribute my. That's lovely to see that how you have pitched the continuous learning and connected it to learning new skills. That also shows open how open-minded you are. So that is a lovely line to pitch. Switching to a new domain that is data science AI. Got you, Gitanjali. That looks very specific. Great. I have good analysis skills, so I work on it and learn new skill, Python, SQL, and want to work as an analyst. Great, Kavita. And this is very specific also that what are the skills you want to bring in. Anupma, that's a very nice way to think about it. But not because you are not getting opportunities, but also because you bring those expertise. I would say consulting and freelancing is something where you can pick up diverse projects and do. So we'll cut the line. I am 50 plus not getting job opportunities and go with the pitch that I bring multiple expertise and hence consulting and freelancing is what I love to do. That sounds amazing, Saroj. I love the way you articulated and made it specific as well as also connected it what is the need in the market. Awesome. So now we have an understanding of our identity, people. Those who have not replied, I'll encourage that you should really use this opportunity. It's a non-judgmental space, so whatever you write is not right or wrong. Nobody's going to judge you. Please try a shot for sure in the chat. So this looks lovely. What I'm trying to say is that, see, just 15 minutes in the session, and we all just tried to do an exercise of flipping the way we look at us. And we are able to see so many positives in the chat box. I would just say to pause a minute and think about that how much optimism you have, but how we are seeing ourselves is also reflects what we write on our resume or what we write in our LinkedIn profile, right? So instead of going for the traditional lines on your resume, which tries to compete with the market and say that what we should fit in, maybe you should rethink on that line and look at what you have shared in the chat box and reframe it. uh, yeah, taking you forward now, we do have a essence of who we are, how we are relaunching ourselves, some understanding of how we can flip perspectives of ourselves. Uh, let's move forward and see that now what should be the purpose. So something that really helped me to recalibrate my career when I thought that education is something I really like to do, but is it something that I love to wake up every day and do, uh, is this tool, which you all must have seen on internet, or maybe many of you have read a book called Ikigai. And Ikigai stands for, this is a Japanese word, and in English, the meaning is reason to live. So that's why I have a strong connection with this tool and thought today, let's see this relaunching as more of a reason to live for ourselves. What do you do in Ikigai is you answer four questions. Like you can see, there are four circles on my screen, which are overlapping. So the first question that you always answer for yourself is what you love. So what you love means what do you love to do? Because you have also experienced yourself before, you must have certain idea about what are the things I like and dislike. So in this category, this could go. For example, if I have to put myself and answer this, that what do I love to do? I just love to solve problems. As an engineer, also I used to love that, and now as an educator or a designer, I love to do that too, and I continue doing that. The second question that you need to ask yourself is now what you are good at. So, what are the different things? Like a lot of you wrote in the chat about the different skill sets that you come at. But what is one thing or two things that you really, really nail with others when compared to, right? For example, for me, I realized that I love to solve problems, but what I'm good at it by designing different solutions. And how can I collaborate with more and more people? So my collaboration skill is very high, and I really like to meet new people and work with them. On the other side, I also realized that how do what I stand out with the market with is designing different things. So you give me any problem, I would love to design product or program to solve that problem, right? Uh, the next piece that you need to ask yourself is the yellow circle, what the world needs. Like, what is something that is really a problem for the world and you can contribute to? In my case, I realize one of the ways that I want to offer the world is by making the education better, because that was the problem that was hitting me deeply. I am saying there can be multiple ways, but this is the best way I can contribute, is what I feel. So I put down my belief and realize that education sector could be a place where I can belong to. And the last question is, we all need to run our family. We all need to be financially independent. It makes you feel more powerful. So what you can be paid for. So now let's see what can be different things. I realized the answer was I can be paid for designing programs. I can be paid for designing products. I could be paid for teaching in classrooms or at college. And the last thing I felt, I can be a very good piece in any management, as I love collaborating and working with people. So this was like, with this, I realized that program, product, teaching, education, these things stand out to me, and hence I picked up a role for myself there. I would just request all of you to take 3 to 5 minutes and put down answer for all those 4 questions. You should start with what you love, then you move to what you're good at, then you move to the yellow circle, what the world needs, and last could be what you can pay for. So let's take 5 minutes and put down answers. It may also need you to reflect, go back, think in the past, and then bring the answers. So I really say that use a paper pen to do this exercise. And once you are done, you can type your response on the chat box. And if you have any question, any doubts, please use the chat box. I would love to respond to that. Lovely. I love to do coding. Great. You can also answer like one question at a time and put it in the chat box. Thanks, Vidya. If you have figured out what you love, you can also type in the chat box. Vidya, and also, are you good at coding? Is the next question that I'll ask you. Amazing, Kavita. So I am seeing that you love to do analysis. And Kavita, my question will be, are you good at problem solving? If that's your answer, then you should think of what is the need of the world. I love to do coding and investigation. Thank you, Vidya, for sorry, Divya. Thank you for putting that down. I see that you love coding, and I am assuming you are good at investigation. Would all of you try to take a shot on what the world needs? But these are lovely way to think. I'm so glad you people are able to think. Thank you, Gitanjali, for sharing. I love to learn new things. I'm good at simplifying complex concepts, also growing attention to detail, and I can be paid for teaching, training, world needs compassionate people. That's a lovely response, Gitanjali. Thank you for trying that out. And that's a great example of how you can use Ikigai to redefine the purpose of your life. Vidya, that's a great try. That world needs experts in tech area, and you already bring in, like you said, coding as one of the solution to that. Now you just need to figure out what you can be paid for, and I see that market really needs coders. Kavita, great. I see data analysis is what coming out from your statement. My passion in technology and it's good at explaining conflict. Great, Anupma. That's a great way to articulate. Now you need to think of that what the world needs. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi, for sharing that data analytics. I would say that you need to think of what are the places where you can be paid for this DS skill. Thank you, Manisha, for sharing that image. Amazing. So managing organizing is the skill. And you also have specified it that at events you would like to do that. So event management is coming out for me. And the world needs proper guidance and the world needs a lot of organizing skill. Manisha is what I say. All the functions that are happening, whether it's professional or personal, we do need people who can help to manage events. Thanks, Arpita, for sharing that. Researching in depth and analysis. Great. What I'm good at, training sales. Amazing. There's a great connection that's coming out of it. What I can be paid for? Absolutely. Marketing and sales. What the world needs, support in mental and physical health and fitness. I would just say, how can you connect this to the above three answers, Arpita? It's something I am thinking of. That how can these first three answers help you to connect with the world need? That is where you just find your purpose. Yeah. But I think if you think further, Arpita, like support in mental, physical health or fitness, sales is connected to that again. So I am seeing a connection, but I would like you to spend some time and build that connection for yourself. That's a great way. Like what you love, you have articulated it very well. It is a great, like I'm seeing a highlight that people management skill and networking coming out as a great piece, which could be for you, the Ikigai could be also a HR role if you think through that way and it really interests you. I love code and communication. Thank you, Kanchan, for sharing that. Exactly. Training and project management is a skill that is there in multiple fields. Like if we see technology or if we see any program management role in development sector, all these sectors are open for you. So I'm also seeing how Kanchan you can use this skill in different sectors. Great. Seeing your response, I'm getting that this Ikigai tool is getting clear, and you can definitely use it to redefine out what purpose you want, what are your major skills that can come on table and get you a job. I will take you forward with this. That now we know that what's our purpose. We also realize what is our present status. Now, what to do with all of this? There comes the piece, folks, that we need to start thinking of that how to network. Can some of you share that what are few networking skills that you have used to get a job? You can use the chat box to write about it. One or two ways that you have networked to find a new job for yourself. You reached out. Thanks, Kavita, for sharing that. You reached out to college friends. You use. Thank you, Kirti. You used LinkedIn. Anything anybody did other than this? Attending seminars. You went out in spaces and attended seminars. Great. I see a lot of LinkedIn coming out and career websites. Amazing. Srilakshu, would you like to explain what you mean by boot camps? Oh, lovely, Arpita. That's a great way of writing cold emails. How can you like see? There are too many applications on LinkedIn. There are too many applications on career website. One of the ways of just getting more into that could be what Arpita just shared. That writing personal emails to CEOs, uh, and that could be finding their email IDs and writing on the LinkedIn. You can find the email IDs and write them that we are looking for this, and these are your skills. Thanks, Manisha, for sharing that. Going out where you are getting opportunities to connect with more people like AFH and LinkedIn. Yeah, Kirti, I also think cold emails is one of the best ways to pitch yourself. Amazing, Gitanjali. This is also a way to build your network. That how can you find different opportunities, which is specifically for women returning to work and apply there. Uh, I would also suggest that one of the ways could be like picking up small internships, which can really give you like nowadays in the market. The other way of giving job is also has become that you pick up an internship, prove your quality, and just convert it into a job. That also helps you to understand that this culture, this workplace works for me better or not, right? So just moving forward, that we all realize it is important, and some of the data that I also saw which saying why this is so important is that now in India the way we are getting job is changing from applications to referrals, and hence instead of just filling the forms on LinkedIn or just going by the traditional method is not the only way that will work for you. What could be different ways could be like you just listed in the chat box. How can you write more cold emails? How can you be out, write messages to people that I'm looking for a job? And these are the two skills that I'm really good at, two, three skills, and uh, just letting people know. Third could also be like many of you shared platforms like AFH, or there are many other platforms which are doing that. Third or fourth could be doing some course which can help you with networking. Like, for example, one of the courses that really helped me to expand my network was doing the ILSS Emerging Women Leadership, where I realized that, okay, there are multiple companies which are looking for people like us. Sure, sure. Uh, Now let's do a small exercise and we'll go one by one and you can again use the chat box. On my screen, I have displayed three questions. One is about who are the three people you can informally chat about industry. Whatever industry you would like to pick up for yourself next, think of three people that you can reach out to and you can respond in the chat box. I'll wait for a minute. Like many of you mentioned that you have reached out to your college friends, you have reached out people on LinkedIn. Think of experts in those industries and name them. Thank you, Manisha, for thinking of one name. Manisha, but I'll push you to think two more names. Kavita, that's a lovely connection. Kavita, I would really like you to expand when you say head my field. HR, I get it. You can think of your old manager with whom you worked and already have a rapport. You can also think of old colleagues that you have worked with. Got you, Manisha. Thank you. Can I get three more names at least? Kavita, I'll push you to think what is that name, even if the LinkedIn is open to search that person and name that. Amrita, again, the push will be specific. If you can name your three friends whom you'll reach out, that will be the best way. Because next month, I also want you people to do this next month. Saroj, I would suggest if you feel that somebody is demotivating you, then your connection should be different than that because their perspective can also bias your perspective. Anupa, that's a great way to think. Ex-colleagues, I would again say I will push you to think of three specific ex-colleagues that you'll reach out next month for finding a job for you. Shalini, the question is, I'll repeat that you have to name three people who are in the industry that you want to enter and you will reach out to them. Kavita, again, the push will be who is this project manager? Do you know the name or you have to search the name? Great. Now let's think. Since I see in the chat box, you have already figured out who are the people who can you reach out to. I'm assuming at least on three you have one or two names with you. That who are the people you want to reach out for your resume feed? At least one or two name again. Manisha, that's very specific and lovely to see. That how you have also kept the diversity of people. Great. So now you have to think of who are the people. Are these same people that you can take feedback on resume, or you would like to think of some other names who can give you feedback on your resume? Now again, when I'm thinking of these names, I'll think of people who have been consistently in the market and know about the market well in which you want to enter, so that they can give you feedback on your resume. Yeah. So, Manisha, why have you picked up a news anchor for feedback on your resume? Would you like to share in the chat box? For example, like Kavita said, a project manager, if you are applying for uh, a role in which your skill, the highlight skill is project manager, I would think this person will be a right person to reach out. Similarly, somebody mentioned about their brother in Mintra. So if you are looking for sales and marketing role, that could be a person you reach out to give you feedback on your resume. Got you, Manisha. The last question I'd like to push all of you think of is that somebody also asked me in the chat that where do we get opportunities like this? I would just suggest that pick up, I like use this prompt that I have given that some of the work from home gigs, and you can use Google or you can use Chat GPT to figure out top five. So I would request just do that, and if you find at least two, please share it with on the chat. Now, there are a lot of work from home gigs that you can find online. They may not pay you very well, but they are a good starter for you. I just wait for one or two response before sharing that with you. Saroj, that's also a nice approach to think, but who that person will be. So for the Shraddha. Okay. Thank you, Amrita, for that question. Thank you, Divya. Anybody else who found a work from home gig? So I can give you based on like few industry specific. For example, if you're looking if you're looking for something like web development, then you can get some work from home gigs like front end, back end, or Upwork or Fiverr. Yeah, that's one of the things where you can get work from home gigs. Thank you, Kavita, for searching it out and sharing with all of us. And I would say more than asking this question, the approach has to be that you have to look for it. Uh, because I don't specifically know what sector each one of you are looking for. But if you ask me for social sectors, some of the organizations that can help, I can suggest you is Simple Education Foundation. Avanti Fellows is one of the org that I can share with you. Uh, Teach for India itself will give you that. Thank you, Farisha, for. I'm so sorry, Farisha. There's a link. Okay. These are the three, four organizations I know that can give you product development or teaching roles that can be online. There are a lot of online tech roles also. Yeah, Saroj, I do see that one of the challenge, and that's why I'm not suggesting very explicitly for those Upwork and Fiverr, as they are not working very actively on that. But yeah, I would suggest to use LinkedIn as a way to find that. Teacheron is an online virtual teaching platform that you can use. So I'll just pause there and move to the next slide and just close out. So quickly consolidating what did we learn today. So if I have to start from the beginning, first we did that how can we flip our perspective towards ourselves, which is like what are our core strengths and how do we use it for ourselves. Next, we move to the technique of Ikigai, where we quickly consolidated that what could be our purpose of living, where we figured out answers for four questions and then drafted it into a statement that what we love, what we are good at, what the world needs, and how can we pay it for what we want to do. Right. Then we move to that what could be different ways of networking, because what we are realizing that the old traditional ways of applying to application is not now very active, and hence we do need to leverage our network and build our network. We try to identify three folks who can help us with finding a new job by letting them know, and three folks who can give us feedback on our resume. We also learned how to reframe the first line of our resume. Uh, and the last piece that I really feel that is helping is cold emails, which I will re-articulate as that you can create opportunities instead of waiting for them. Uh, and that's the only way that makes you different from others. Yeah, I would just leave you with the thought that you have to reframe it first, and the world will reframe it with you. That you are not restarting your career, you are just reimagining it, and hence be as explorative, as open as you can, and then you will see more positive things happening to you. With that, I just stop sharing my screen and open up for some questions. Rashika, you would like to add something?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ananya. That was incredibly insightful and encouraging. And also, I loved the energy in the chat. Everybody was engaging and sharing their experiences and their answers with us. So I love that. Thank you, everybody. Now we'll open up the chat for your question answers for the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, any doubt, feel free to type them in the chat box, and I'll read them, and Ananya will respond one by one.
Now, I think we can also ask the participants to unmute now. If anyone
Yeah,
wants to unmute and ask the question directly, please do.
yes, please.
Hello. Can I talk to mentor? Kavita this side.
Yeah.
Hello, Ananya. Kavita this side. I have done few courses from Coursera and Clarity Bangalore also. My previous experience in QC, that is electronics, power electronics. After, due to some reason, I switched to another field, that is IT domain, and I have worked 2 to 3 years there also. But at both places, I got in hand salary because both organizations are very people work there and they give in hand salary. But I have each and every documents whatever they company give me, and company is still there. If I got a chance in any big MNC company, they ask why you didn't get any account salary, why you get in hand salary. But in Delhi or some another place, still some company gave you in hand salary if you are aware of it.
Hmm.
How can I answer this question? What I can say?
So, Kavita, what I'm getting is when you are talking about your package, right? Once you
Yes.
get a job, they are asking in hand, and that's the challenge. That you would like a raise, and they are, when they are asking in hand salary, the raise is not appropriate. Am I getting the question right?
Yes, yes.
I would say, Kavita, before applying, do they mention the salary bracket when you apply for any role, or you just apply looking at the JD and then keep that factor later?
No, question is this now. Why didn't get the salary in account rather than check or rather than in hand salary? Because the organization is too small. Only 10 or 12 people is working. In one organization, only 200 people is working. But I'm working as a QC, as a QC engineer. Only two QC engineers working in that organization. They are providing me in hand salary in 2015 to 17. I worked in that time,
Okay.
and I don't. The main thing is why you didn't get account salary? Why you are not asking for account salary? At
So
that,
you
I
mean to
can't just.
say,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt. So you mean to say you don't have pay slips as such to provide for your future job opportunity?
yes. That is the main reason. But the company is still there, and the time which I have worked, they have attendance sheet, each and everything. The time I have worked 4+ years there, and they have all the records.
Got you, Kavita. Kavita, you must be having the joining letter for sure for that, no? For that previous company where you worked for 2 years.
Yes, all the things are I have. I have all
And
the
you
things.
also have your bank details, right? When the salary is
No.
credited.
No. Still, few company are not giving the salary in bank. They are still providing in hand salary. If you work on ground level, then you get to know that still some companies are providing in hand salary rather than account.
Hmm.
If you
Got you. Kavita, first, I would say I'm sorry that you are going through this problem. I do hear that it is a complicated situation and how the uh, HRs work. They do want some proof you got that salary and you are not just presenting an offer letter. And in your case, the company is also small. See, two things are there, Kavita. One is definitely that your offer letter having the mention of salary is one of the proofs that you got it. But I also do see as a recruiter the challenge for them that since there is no salary credited in your account, or there is no proof that you got it. One way could be going back to that company and asking the HR, can they write on a letter as a proof of salary, that this was the norm of the company and there is no fault of yours. This is what I feel that can be done in this case. Other than this, I'm not able to think of an alternative, to be honest, Kavita. So have you tried that? Did you reach out to your HR and ask them to just put down acknowledgement letter like that and share with you?
Yes, I have that later.
Hmm.
But some company, like a big MNC company, ask about each and everything.
Oh. Then I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest, Kavita. If anybody has that answer or tried it some other way, please share in the
Okay,
chat box.
can you provide your email ID so can I write a recap proper and I can just share my some things. I can share my LinkedIn profile too.
Okay.
So
Sure,
you
Kavita.
will you, because if I talk too much, other people can be invading my.
Sure, I'll do that. That makes
Okay, thank you
sense.
so.
Thank you for
Um,
asking that question.
just a
Hmm.
second, can I just once ask one question? Kavita, you have received the offer from any company,
Last year I have received, but
so you
not
cleared
now.
the interview and you are unable to
Last year,
submit the documents.
yes, I have received all from Career 360 degree, but I didn't join at that time due to some
Okay.
my personal problem.
Okay, I will share one thing. So it might not be completely relatable. So, like, I lost
Okay.
my pay slips and I went back to my company and persistently chased them for 1 month for the pay slips. And since I already had the pay slips generated in their records previously, they were able to acknowledge, and within a month they were able to provide the same. So I think you have to be a bit aggressive, and I mean not aggressive in the sense not in a wrong way, but in a right way, so that your career will not be at risk, so that you go back to that particular HR and you make them understand that it is really critical for your future, and that's the only way you can get the records straight, and give that particular HR contact to the relevant one that is providing the offer to you currently, so that there will be a fair and transparent conversation to solve this. So please try that.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am,
No
for
worries. Take
guiding
care.
me.
Thanks a lot, Hepzibah. Thank you for that solution.
Yeah, thanks, Vibha. I know that experience. It was very difficult because once you have the offer at hand, you don't have the right set of documents, you struggle again. So I can understand it and totally relate to it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so Richa is asking in the chat one question is usually asked is, how will you manage work now after a child? I have a gap of 3 years. How should one answer this confidently?
Thanks for the question, Richa, and that's a very valid question, and a lot of us struggle to answer. I think one of the ways is that, like during the session, also what I shared, that we shouldn't see it as a break. We should just be rational about it being a responsibility. Now there's a word also that we use that it was a childcare break, right? So firstly, I would say that you should acknowledge the break without any apology. It was for taking care of child, and you should talk more about, like we learned today, that how do you pitch those skills. For example, after having a child, you do have a multitasking skill, you have a great time management skill, you have a lot of resilience. So whenever somebody asks that question, it is also for us to look at that question the way we are answering. We shouldn't be feeling guilty about it. We should also feel empowered. That's a choice that you made, not a break that was mandatory for you. And I would say, first, acknowledge the gap. Second, I would say that you should talk about the transferable skills that you developed as a parent. And the third thing I would definitely say is that you need to bring a lot of assurance that how stability will come with you when you are doing that. Like for example, when you say time management is one of the skill you develop, to the question that you said that you have a 3-year-old and how you will balance work, it automatically answers, right? That you are good at time management, you will navigate that. Similarly, skills like work-life balance. If you say that, that itself says that you'll be able to balance both. When you say you're resilient, it is very clear that you will take your responsibilities at work very seriously as you take at home. So I would say to also approach it for ourselves in a different way rather than just seeing it as a problem that happened, seeing it as one of the breaks that much needed and you took for your child and develop your skills as parent. I hope that helps you. Rashika, you want to move to next question?
Um, Manisha was asking in the gap. I taught many kids in India as well in Australia as a tuition teacher, but I can't show in my work experience. So how to highlight that in my CV?
Okay. I would again say, Manisha, that it could be that, like, I don't know, it cannot be counted as a volunteer experience, but it could also, you can frame it this way that I did not take a break and did nothing. What I did, I developed my skill as a teacher and I care for the society. So I wanted to work for the children around me. If that is for underprivileged children, that's how I'll pitch. If there's a for privileged children also, you can say that you used your skills of, for example, if you taught mathematics or you taught any particular subject and you are expert in that, you can connect with that and maybe say that I use this time for doing this freelancing or just home tutoring. So again, I would say that how do you pitch it? And one of the ways that I mostly get a lot of ways to pitch better or articulate better is you just use chat GPT for those things and get like some of the keywords and then frame it the way you want. But this could be first should be seen by you that this is a much needed break and not because it was my life or condition that I had to take it. So again, I would go back to the perspective angle here, Manisha. Hope that helps.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Please write in the chat box. Yeah, Smita is asking, how do we approach on LinkedIn to founders or startups for work? Will that be considered professional? Also, there are questions while applying on a job portal for remote work if we are authorized to work for US.
Okay, thanks. For the last bit of question, I am not the right person to comment on that. I haven't ever applied abroad for a remote role. So I would skip that. But for the first part, I would like to take it up that how do we approach the founder? I would definitely say that before making the ask, you should always frame it in a way that how you really like the work they are doing and you are very interested to know about that. Second piece, I'll say that all this you can do, that is seen as professional. Nobody sees LinkedIn as something unprofessional. But you should be very cognizant of the framing. I think the first framing should be why your passion connects with the interest that that founder is offering. Second, I would also say that you need to pitch yourself better. Like nowadays, everybody understands that LinkedIn is a platform that people are trying to network and reach out to each other. So that is something that I would recommend. I hope, Smita, that helps.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you, everybody, for giving us your questions. Um, so, if you don't have any questions, so we'll be, before wrapping up, we have one last quick poll which will help us understand your understanding of the session and how we can continue supporting you better. So, I'd request Farisha again to launch the poll. There's
While
one more question by Kirti. I have applied jobs and also I used cold mails to reach HR and hiring managers, but I have doubt about the resume. Should I recreate again for each job post and what is best at application?
Okay, thanks for that question, Kirti. I think what I suggest you is see, cold emails also need follow-ups. That's just for the part of cold emails for you. The second part, I do think that it is always better if you have some connections in the company you are applying. Cold emails is one of the ways, but there need to be like if you can build network on LinkedIn or through your friend or friend, you can have a network in a company. That will be always good to get a gauge of it. Third question that you said about tweaking the resume based on role, I would really recommend that. We should always go through the JD and see for what are the right skills or the highlighted skill that is needed. And if somewhere you see a connection in your resume as well, I would say that the framing statement of your resume should highlight that particular skill for the role you are applying. So these are the three things I would say. Like cold emails don't work in isolation. If you don't know anyone, you should send follow-up emails. Second, I would recommend that if you can couple cold emails with some network in that organization, that's the best approach. And third, I would say that yeah, you do need to tweak your JD. I mean your CV as you go through the JD of different roles. It would be slight change, but you need to highlight the skills that is needed for the role every time you apply for another role. I hope, Preeti, that helps. Rashika, the poll is done.
Yes, the poll is done. Rashika, you
Yes.
can announce the result.
Yeah, so we can see there are 16% of people who are very confident, and 42 are more confident than before. 26% still need more support, and 16% are unsure. Then, yeah, has the session helped you get clarity on the next steps? To that, 17% say that they are very clear on what direction they are moving, and 50% are people are still want to explore a few ideas. 33% are somewhat clear but need more guidance. Yeah, and 0% are unclear about it.
Thanks, Rashika, for sharing that. I'm glad it helped some ways. I would really encourage all of you. You can always reach out to me on my LinkedIn. You'll find
Yeah.
it under your path there. So yeah, thank you for this space, Rashika. Over to you.
Thank you everyone for your input and your responses. So now we'll be closing the session. On behalf of entire Aspire for her team, thank you everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope this session gave you a fresh perspective and practical tools, and most importantly, the belief that that your comeback can be powerful, purposeful, and yours to define. A big thank you to our speaker Ananya for leading us through this beautiful hour, and to everybody here for being here and participating so warmly. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ananya. Thank you, everyone. I would only say one thing: be confident and just go ahead.
Thank you, Hepsiga, for that. Thank you.